answer to your question, but it's such an important question. Everybody's focused, oh my God, what if it hits 100K? Well, it is going to hit 100K. And then it's going to hit 200K and then 300K, because it's not about Bitcoin. It's one Bitcoin will always be one Bitcoin. And there's only 21 million. In fact, there probably aren't even really 21 million because there's some that are lost or stolen. So, but one Bitcoin is always one Bitcoin. What changes is the unit which people value it in. I talk about this all the time. There's never been a bear market in Venezuela for Bitcoin, because the bolivar went straight down. So Bitcoin valued in bolivars doesn't have the wild fluctuations like the dollar, the yen, or the euro. And right now, we're back to printing more money. And look, I think the current administration, incoming administration, is better for debt and money printing, which is actually worse for number go up. Like, people ask me, well, who do you want to win? I'm like, I actually want someone to win, but I don't really care in the short term, because I don't think there's going to be that money. You just hold them. Then what happens is the price starts to rise and get closer to fair value. The traders come in. They're like, oh, movement. I need movement. I don't really care about the fair value. I don't really care at all. I just want to trade. And nothing wrong with trading. I stink at it. I've never asked me to trade your money. I'm bad at it. And most humans are bad at it, but there are some good traders. There are a few good traders. But then the speculators come in. Well, what's a speculator? Well, speculator is someone who doesn't really care about anything other than someone needs the other side of a sale, right? Oil producers need to sell their production for it. I'm sitting in Tulsa, Oklahoma in a hotel room with my in-laws. And so here they sell the production forward, and the speculator has to take the other side, because for every buyer, there has to be a seller. For every seller, there has to be a buyer. So speculators are not evil. They just don't care about what they're buying. They just take the other side of the sale. Well, then as the price really starts to move, this is the problem. That's when his son probably has some. And I think JD definitely has some. And there are other people in the administration. But I don't think Donald Trump really cared. But someone told him, hey, there's probably 100 million people that own this stuff. Some of them are going to vote. So you could say, I love you, and vote for me. And I'm sure you saw the video when he went to Bitcoin Nashville.
I was there.
And he gave his speech, right? I love the look on his face when he said, on day one, I'll fire Gary Gensler. And people went crazy. And he's like, he was literally shocked at how emotional. And he's like, I'm going to say that again. On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler. And the place went crazy. And then every time, and I'll free Rosh and play with it great. And I'll do this. He's like, damn, this is real. And so no question that that's worth something. But the hard part is the talk versus the walk. So yeah, you can set about 8 weeks. So 8 weeks from now, we'll be post inauguration. And if they got that bill passed in the first week, and suddenly people were like, holy crap, I got to front run the US government. Yeah, things can go up faster.
If that bill gets passed, looking years down the road, do you think that's going to cause one of the biggest FOMOs crypto has ever seen? And how fast could we get to 1 million?
See, that's fast, because here's the thing. 100K to 1 million, it's not that big a move. It's 10x, right? It's not that it's not a big move, but it's not that big. The miracle of Bitcoin is not that it's going to hit 100K this week. It's not a miracle. It seems like a miracle. And, Dan Moorhead just posted the thing yesterday. His original Bitcoin fund is up 1,000x. To go up 1,000x in anything is one of the great investments of all time, period. But 1,000x is a lot different than 10x. 10x, a lot of things go up 10x. Not many, but a lot. And so you just copy paste it in, and the developers can agree, and you got a better chain. So to me, Ethereum should have been unassailable, but for whatever reason, they didn't seem to react to the Solanas and the others that arguably do have faster and cheaper. And, someone said this, and I can't take credit for it. I think it might have been Happy Pirate or somebody who said, it might have even been you, who said, if Solana, if Ethereum didn't exist and was invented today, would anybody use it? It's a tough question. And I'm not like saying anything bad about Vitalik or anybody else. It's just, if you had this other series of chains that were faster and cheaper, now they're not as, I got a lot of trouble with you, mister.
That was you.
Because I was talking about Solana and I talked about the smart contractization of life, right? Everything will be digitized. Every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every collectible car, every piece of real estate, like this hotel I'm sitting in, all of it will be tokenized and digitized, and we're going to need smart contracts. Now, part of the challenge for me still is I like on-chain. I don't want to be on an AWS server with a pointer to the chain, because AWS could call up one day and say, you know what, you're done. Right? I'm sure everybody's watched the Mark Andreessen thing about all the people that have been debanked, right? But debanking is no different than, de-accessing is AWS or Azure could say, you know what, you're off our servers. And then what happens? So I really like truly things that are on chain. And I've never met one.
This is the new thing that gets you in trouble. This will be the thing.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, because they're going to come at me. Well, I would be happy. I would be happy to meet a developer that's developing something real in Cardano. But here's the weird thing. Both of those have ties now politically. And look, Garlinghouse is part of the WEF crowd and the banking crowd, and that somehow is tied in to Trump maybe. And clearly Charles has tried to be a big player. So both of those have had big runs here. And again, if I had money that I was willing to lose, because I think you could literally lose it, I might actually own a little bit of those. Because I do think, and Hedera is another one, where those three, right? And you can't get rich doing stuff in the middle of the bell curve, right? 10, 11% compounders, that'll keep you from being poor because it'll beat inflation over the long term, but it won't make you rich. The rich comes from concentrated positions where you get lucky, right? You have to be contrarian and right. Because if you're contrarian and wrong, you just lose money. If you're contrarian and right, you have the chance to make a lot. But for me, I wouldn't, and this is why I'm not, I'm never going to be a rich trader, because you really should pick one or two and be concentrated, because that's how you win. Drones don't need to do that. AIs don't need to do that. So that makes sense. How does it end? It probably ends with a whimper, not a bang, meaning you just get so many and there's only so much money that, some will go up, some will go down, some will go up, some will go down. And then those people will just lose attention. Because at the end of the day, if there's one AI agent, they're going to make a lot of money. If there's two, less, 3, 10, 20, 20,000, and people say, oh, there'll be millions of meme tokens. Okay. But if there's only so many dollars to convert into that, it's do the math, right? There can be less, rocket ship rides as you get more of them. So early in any technology wins the question. You deflect and redirect and talk about something you want to talk about. I said, dude, I'm a dutiful firstborn. You ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. So that's one of my flaws, is you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it, when I should say, Jesus, is that going to piss some people off? I probably shouldn't answer that. So if I offended anybody, I apologize. And what I want is, like Happy Pirate did, call me out, call me on a DM and say, hey, let me educate you. Let me show you how to do that. Let me show why you're wrong. I live for that. I live to talk to people with different views that I can learn from. So that's the first thing. Second, Grateful to you and everybody else who creates community. I mean, the reach that you and your brother built is awesome, and I'm psyched to be a little tiny part of it.